Hello, my dear students. Shall we go to the new topic from the animal kingdom, which comes a different class that is under chordata. Now, so far what we have understood about non-chordates, right? This is how the animal kingdom is classified: chordates and non-chordates. Among non-chordates, we have understood from phylum Porifera to phylum Echinodermata. So still that phylum, this is a non-chordate. Okay, so we have completely studied about Porifera, from Porifera to phylum Echinodermata, and I have also done one more revision in the last video. Okay, so I hope you all cleared about it, and I want everyone to make sure that each points you can recollect it soon, and you can write all the points without making mistakes. So likewise, you must do a thorough studying on this chapter, because it's an easy scoring chapter. So that's why this chapter, once you study, there is no chance of forgetting these main points. So study from the textbook, make a note of this, and also see the examples. With the examples, you study each kingdom or each phylum. This will help you to recollect the points more easy and faster. So now our concentration is on the phylum chordates. Right? So phylum chordates, one more class comes under this is, we can say it is a protochordates are there, and one more is a vertebrates. Right? So we don't want to go further on this classification, it may confuse you. So better I'll just tell you that here the chordates can be divided into 4 subclasses, or 4 subcategories are there under the phylum chordata, right? So phylum chordata, so the divisions comes under this phylum chordata are: 1, it is Urochordata. Okay, second subphylum is Hemichordata. Okay, then further the third type is the Cephalochordata. This is how the chordata is divided into subcategories, right? So phylum chordata is divided into 3 subphylum. Phylum chordata, it is subdivided in the chapter living world as well as in the biological classification. We understood that the taxonomical hierarchy, apart from that 7 main categories, there are subcategories there which helps to assign a given individual or a given organism to a particular position. So here the phylum chordata again subdivided into subphylum Urochordata. Okay, you can mention it as subphylum Urochordata 1, second subphylum Hemichordata, third subphylum Cephalochordata, and the one more classification is vertebrates. So about vertebrates, we will study anyhow in the next class. So it includes mammalia, then class Aves, reptiles, then what else? Amphibians. It is not in the order, okay? So actual order is how the order comes. Yes, amphibian, reptiles, aves, mammals. I have written in the descending order. Okay, make a note of that. Class Amphibia, class Reptilia, class Aves, and class Mammalia are the subdivisions under phylum Vertebrates. Okay, for protochordates, it is under chordates, the further classification is based on the presence of the notochord. Okay, the phylum Vertebrata or phylum Chordates has been divided into three subphylum, that is Urochordata, Cephalochordata and Hemichordata. So these are the subclasses. So first type is, let us understand about Hemichordata. We will understand more about the phylum Hemichordata. Phylum Hemichordata. The word itself will help you to understand. Hemi means what? Hemicircle, hemisphere, all those words you might have heard. So Hemichordata means which is half. So this class is there, no? So it is not completely a chordate, but it is a half chordate. Now, actually, because of that reason, the Hemichordata, earlier it was placed under phylum non-chordate. Actually, it was according to the earlier classification, it was placed under the subphylum non-chordate itself. Under the phylum chordata itself, it is considered as one of the subphylum under non-chordates. But now it is placed differently. It is not placed under the non-chordates, but now it is placed in a separate phylum under which category is under non-chordate. Under non-chordate, it is kept separately. So reasons why it is not a pure vertebrates and it's not a non-chordate. It's like in a transition between the two. It's in the border of two. So what are the characteristic features which make them unique and which made us to classify in a different category? So what are the categories or what are the characteristics features? Let us see first. See, I have drawn a diagram of this Balanoglossus, which is an example for the Hemichordata. So just look at the shape of this animal. Is it looks like a cylindrical? Is it look like a worm-like animal? Right. So it is a worm-like animal. Then how the symmetry? Let us concentrate on the main classification or criteria for the classification of animals. What are the first criteria? Hello children, let us continue. So let me continue the features of phylum Hemichordata. It is triploblastic. Then what are other features we can consider for their main characteristic features? Coelomate, bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, coelomate. Do they have organ system or organ level of organization? They are advanced group. So under the phylum, which phylum they comes under? They comes under the chordates, right? So obviously they have the organ system level of organization. Then what other features it has? So main features are bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, then triploblastic organ system level of organization. Then okay, so body is cylindrical, worm-like, and body shape is cylindrical shape. Okay, you agree? You can see that this is a diagram of Balanoglossus. You can see the body is cylindrical, right? So let us understand how this body has the divided into, or what are the regions it has. Like us, we have head, then the neck, abdomen, like that regions are there, right? So likewise, in a case of hemichordate, like in a Balanoglossus, how this cylindrical body has been divided into. So it is divided into first region, head. Okay, this region is there, no, a middle part. This is the thorax. Then this is the abdomen. This is how a hemichordate, like a Balanoglossus. Example for hemichordata is Balanoglossus. So it is divided into, yes, head region. In this case, it is we call it as proboscis. What we call it as? This head region actually. This is called as proboscis. The body is divided into proboscis, collar and trunk. Okay, so proboscis, collar and trunk. This is how the body of hemichordate can be divided into. The body of hemichordate is divided into proboscis, then collar, then the trunk regions. So these are the regions of a worm-like animal which belongs to the subphylum Hemichordata, which comes under the phylum Chordata. Let us see about their organ system features. Okay, so anyhow they are the organ system level of organization. So obviously we have to go study about their how the digestive system can be carried out, how the circulatory system is taking place, right? So how this respiratory system is taking place. So respiratory system, it consists of gills. It consists of gills. So you can also consider it is living in the aquatic. So it is aquatic. Respiratory organ itself, it is gills. Now let us understand about their circulatory system and reproductive system. So reproductive system. How the reproductive system carried out, or do they have well developed reproductive system with them, right? They have the reproductive system is well developed in them. So here they have an indirect development, and as well as they so what they will show, they will have a larval stage during their life cycle. So since their indirect shows indirect development, they have an larval stage in their lifestyle or in the life cycle. Then fertilization, how the fertilization takes place. Is it external or internal? It is a internal, right? It is having a external fertilization, indirect development. Then about their reproductive system, another one, dioecious, meaning what's the meaning of dioecious? Where the male and female reproductive organ are seen in the different individual, or in simple term you can say that their sexes are separate. Then how about their circulatory system? Circulatory system, is it closed or open type of circulatory system? It has open type of circulatory system. So about the circulatory system, if we speak, it is having a open type of circulatory system where blood doesn't flow in a closed vessels or arteries. Instead, it will flow through the body fluids. What are the examples for this? Examples for Hemichordata. One, it is Melanoglossus. Okay. Second example is it is Saccoglossus. Melanoglossus and Saccoglossus. Saccoglossus. So these are the main characteristic features of subphylum Hemichordata. So subphylum Hemichordata features are: it is a worm-like individual having bilateral symmetry, triploblastic in organization, coelomate animal, organ system level of organization, body is cylindrical and is divided into three regions like proboscis, collar and trunk. They respire through the gills and they are dioecious, having an indirect development, and fertilization is external. Since they show the direct development, most of them will have the external fertilization. Now, one more thing you have to understand that a proboscis gland. Okay, so what is this proboscis gland? We left telling about the excretory system, right? So excretory system, it is carried out by a gland called as proboscis gland. Proboscis gland is a excretory organ in the case of Hemichordata, that is in the case of Melanoglossus. Then they respire through gills. Remember this, proboscis gland. Proboscis gland are the excretory system, or it is a organ concerned in the excretory system of Melanoglossus or Hemichordata. Then what about the reproduction? They are dioecious, they have indirect development, external fertilization. Circulatory system, they have a circulatory system. It is of open type of circulatory system. There is only two examples are there. Melanoglossus and Saccoglossus are the two examples for phylum Hemichordata. Okay, thus we completed the Hemichordata. Next, what's the next one? It is which subphylum? It is subphylum Urochordata. Urochordata and Cephalochordata is remaining. Let us learn about the phylum Chordata first. Okay, so then we will understand about the Urochordata and what about the Cephalochordata, because see, we have we understood, we may think that why ma'am has taken the Hemichordata now and then going to chordata, then going to the Cephalochordata and later one. Actually, Hemichordata is before it was placed under along with the which one? It is non-chordates, but now it is placed under a separate phylum. Let us understand the, before going to study the which one, Urochordata and Cephalochordata, let us understand the general features of phylum Chordata. There is a diagram given in your textbook showing the features of a chordate. Okay, so that diagram is important. Along with that, labeling also important. So the diagram includes the general characteristics of chordate. Okay, so you have to show the regions of gill slits, then about the nerve cord, then there is also the features of general characteristics of chordates. This shows the general characteristics of chordates. Then also there is below there are paired gill slits are there. So this is a general features of phylum Chordata. So usually a chordate will have the structures, very prominent structures, which makes them differ from the non-chordates are the three major structures. One is dorsal hollow nerve cord. Okay, dorsal side and ventral side, just you have to think that ventral side is a region where the mouth is located. See, this is our ventral side, this is our dorsal side. So usually among the chordates, the vertebral column is located, or the nerve cord will be running along the dorsal side. But in case of non-chordate, it will be there on the ventral side also. Then next one, dorsal hollow. Yes, dorsal hollow ventral nerve cord. Then one more, presence of a nerve cord, then notochord and gill slits. So these are the main features of a or chordate features. So labeling also important. So question used to come, draw the structure of or general characteristics of chordate. So the diagram, this diagram you have to show, along with that labeling also. So here are the three gill slits. Gill slits location is gill slits. Okay, so it shows gill slits, then there is a notochord, then there is a nerve cord. This is the nerve cord and this is the notochord. This is the notochord, yellow one, and the blue one shows the nerve cord. So these are the major characteristic features of a chordate. So the major features, what are the major features? Presence of a notochord. Okay, there is a presence of a notochord. Then dorsal side, there is a hollow nerve cord is also located with pharyngeal gill slits. Okay, then what are the other features? There will be a post-anal tail. Just think about the structure of a human being from head to toe, then you will realize these features are seen among the human being also. See, there is a dorsal nerve cord. How the nerve cord is running? It will be a hollow nerve cord. So the nerve is a hollow inside. Okay, so there is a dorsal hollow nerve cord. Then what is we have? There is a notochord is there. Which side it is? Like it's located on the dorsal side. So there is a notochord is there. Dorsal hollow nerve cord is there. Then post-anal tail. If you consider the example of mammals or waves, reptiles and all, there is a post-anal tail also present. Then gill slits. How the gill slits are there? They will be paired. The gill slits are in pair. So there will be a paired gill slits. We call it as pharyngeal gill slits. There are pharyngeal gill slits. Then about their main characteristic features: organ system level of organization, bilateral symmetry, and then triploblastic, right? So these are the major features. And circulatory system, how the circulatory system is found in case of higher animals or in the chordates or in the hemichord, in the case of urochordate or cephalochordate also this applies. So they have a closed circulatory system. So the phylum Chordata, the main characteristic features of phylum Chordata is like this. Characteristic features of phylum Chordata. What are the features? It has a dorsal hollow nerve cord. Don't leave the dorsal or hollow. The both terms have the importance here. Then there is a paired pharyngeal gill slits. Paired, that means only this one side is shown here. Actually on other side also it will have on left side as well as on the left side. Like how we have a two lungs, likewise gill slits also always in the paired form, and this will be near the pharynx region. So that's why it is named as paired pharyngeal gill slits. Okay, next feature, there will be a paired pharyngeal gill slits. Yes, if we go with the last part, suppose anal tail is present, then almost common features what we have studied in the other phylum: bilateral symmetry, triploblastic, organ system level of organization. Then about the circulatory system, you all know that there will be closed circulatory system where the blood will be flowing in a closed blood vessels. It may be two-chambered in case of fishes, three-chambered in case of crocodiles or in the reptiles, and when it comes to the birds and mammals, the heart will be four-chambered, heart will be also present. Okay, so these are the, anything left? Yes, here one more term you can add, that is coelomate. We have left that term, right? These are the major characteristic features of a phylum Chordata. What are the features? There is a dorsal hollow nerve cord. Remember this because you have to write dorsal, it's important, and it is hollow as well as. Then there will be paired pharyngeal gill slits. There is a post-anal tail will be present having bilateral symmetry, coelomate, triploblastic, and organ system level of organization with a closed circulatory system. Fine. Got clear this much? Let us move on to the next phylum then. What are the features of which is left among the among the chordate subclasses? Must draw this diagram with the labeling. Okay. and try to make it clear. The gill slits should be clear, number of gill slits should be exact. You should not draw as much you want, right? So that will go wrong. If you draw as much the gill slits, number of gill slits what you like, that will be wrong. So next feature we are going to learn about the urochordata and cephalochordata. What are the features of a urochordata? So why this named as urochordata? Actually this hemichordata, cephalochordata and three are together named as protochordates, right? So what are the features here? We can say what are the features it has. In case of the urochordates, they have a notochord is present, but only in the larval stage. That's why it is named as protochordates. Okay. So here, in case of urochordata, that is a major difference you should remember. Notochord is present. Why it is placed differently from vertebrata? This is the reason. Notochord is present only in the larval stage. While it comes to the adult stage, the tail will be absent. Okay, the notochord will be absent. The notochord will be present only in the larval stage, not entirely throughout their life. So that's why it is placed differently and named as urochordata. And remember, they are completely marine. So remember it is exclusively marine. You can use the same terms, makes complete sense of that. Okay, exclusively marine. You might have seen how some news will comes only in some channels. They'll refer it as exclusive. So likewise, this animal is completely found in marine, not anywhere else, right? So these are the major features. Remaining features, let us continue in the next class. So in this class, you have learnt about chordate and their subclasses.